You're welcome to Strictly Politics. It's Nigeria's 60th anniversary, independence anniversary, and we're indeed in a celebration mood across the country, albeit low-key, like they say. Just yesterday, the Federal Executive Council passed a budget proposal for 2021 of 13 trillion naira. And today we're discussing Nigeria's independence anniversary. So many other things happened during the week. During the week as well, and on the resumption of the National Assembly after their break, particularly at the House of Representatives, the controversial Water Resources Control Bill was finally put to rest in a way because the House of Rep Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, ruled that piece of document should be re-gazetted and re-presented, of course, following the procedure of the House. Some people have said that perhaps it is another subtle way of putting aside the bill that has caused so much controversy and so much concern across the country, particularly for those who argue that it complicates the whole argument and the clamor for true federalism where power is indeed devolved to the various states. Election is up very soon, next week to be precise, in Ondo State. That's also one issue that has been in the news. Don't forget that all of the gladiators there in Ondo State are indeed big fishes, if you like. That's also the politics going on in Lagos. Just today, we saw the resignation letter by a prominent politician in Lagos and one who had served in various capacities, both in the legislative and in the executive arm of government in Lagos State, Dr. Abdulhakeem Abdullateef, resigning his membership of the All Progressives Congress. It's indeed a bumper package, and we have very interesting resource persons to deal with all of these issues, bring us up to speed with all that we need to know. My name is Hakeem Ishola.
And I'm Eshoma Boymoto. When you said resource persons, and I was quite excited when I saw the array of resource persons that are here to help us out.
Indeed.
To look at the issues. I look forward to hearing from them.
Yes, and I'm sure you are gearing up to go to Ondo.
Sure.
Your expectations, I'll ask you your expectations. Let's just, I know that now you're already doing a lot of research, trying to understand the terrain, and then trying to know exactly what to expect in Ondo. I'll take you up on all of those after this short break. Please stay with us.
Have you registered for Silverbird Project Inspire? To register, dial *745*45 your BVN hash and send. Stand a chance to achieve your dreams.
You're welcome back. This is Strictly Politics, and this is indeed a special edition, the 60th anniversary edition. Nigeria is celebrating, and of course, we're now being joined by Ayotunde Shabi, who is a legal practitioner. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. A very good evening to you.
You're most welcome. Now, today is Nigeria's 60th independence anniversary. What does it mean to you?
Well, being independent is having freedom. Independence connotes freedom to me, but Nigeria's independence it sends a lot of memory waves when you hear that your country is celebrating independence. To me, Nigeria has been free for 60 years. That's what it means, from foreign interference. But where are we, even after the independence?
Okay, you know, Shomamo, you know, what he just said can be highly controversial because she's saying that Nigeria has been free from foreign interference. Some people will argue that
So not free
perhaps,
from local interference.
perhaps we haven't actually been freed because we are still, in a way, still influenced by policies of international groups and organizations and even some international countries on the basis of the fact that, you know, in terms of, you know, trade, in terms of, you know, even loans.
I want to slightly disagree that we are free from foreign interference. What I mean is, at 60, we can't hold anybody responsible for our inability
problems.
to be where we ought to be. We've had leaders. Now, we're not the only country that was colonized. Why is it that we keep dancing around the same cycle? We must face the fact at 60, we are no longer young. We are adults, we are old. And if we don't get it now, then there's a problem. So we should check ourselves. The leadership, the followers, we all have problems and we should face it. And the earlier the better. That we face the problem and we talk to our leaders. That there's problems somewhere. You've got to fix this entity called Nigeria. We're not doing well at all.
Okay, the president, as usual, as the tradition that we have on every 1st October, would give a speech. And he gave the speech this morning, even though there was a bit of confusion. Because a lot of people expected the speech to be at the Eagle Square. And then, I think much later in the night yesterday, it was rearranged. And I hear someone came into the office this morning and was saying, what speech is this? I thought this speech was supposed to be much later in the day. Bottom line is that he has given the speech, and a lot, you know, was said in that speech. He tried to look at the population of Nigeria at the time of independence and the population that we have now, and the reality that, you know, COVID-19 and other, you know, issues that had to, you know, really cause a lot of challenges for our economy and how they're managing. Even there's also the part about how the previous administrations had not properly managed the economy, and how, for example, the issue, and I think perhaps what will be bad news for many Nigerians, not for people like us, is that he also affirmed today that there's indeed no going back on the increase in the pump price of petrol. I mean, he said that much because he said, look, it doesn't make sense to sell fuel less than, I mean, what you have in neighboring countries. And
I don't think, as an individual, I didn't expect less, anything better than that, saying that no going back about the fuel price. He has always said so. I think we have a group of people who call themselves union leaders who blew it when they went to negotiation. The government have already said no going back. And so if he's saying that in his speech, that is the old narrative we've always had. The only unfortunate thing, probably you want to talk about it now, is the aspect where he said it's unfortunate that we can't sell oil higher than lower than the price in Saudi Arabia. But I think the fundamental mistake in there, or error in there, is the fact that the president didn't go further to explain to us that it's unfortunate that our minimum wage cannot be lower than Saudi Arabia. The president also forgot to tell us that the standard of living in Nigeria should not be lower than Saudi Arabia. Exactly. It's good he made comparison with Saudi Arabia. So I expect that probably those corrections will be brought in tomorrow. Okay. So they will tell us that, okay, going forward, our standard of living will be like Saudi Arabia and all that.
Because of time, we need to run as fast as we can. Are you satisfied or disappointed with this speech?
Well, I'm disappointed. Like what he just said, he brought it out of my mouth actually. Because after the increase in fuel price, some people brought in justification for what happened. They started like giving examples of other countries. Ghana sells at this price, this country sells at this price. But what we fail to realize, or what we fail to put in our minds, is to ask ourselves questions. Are these countries oil producing countries? Okay. All these countries, do they produce oil? Have you looked at
quite a number of the countries that they mentioned actually are oil-producing countries.
Not as much as Nigeria does.
Okay.
Nigeria is one of the largest producing.
The sixth largest producer.
Not as Nigeria does, and their minimum wage, the cost of living, the way they live there, is far better than Nigeria's cost of way of living. So equating them or equating those countries, like you mentioned Saudi Arabia, you don't live in Saudi Arabia and then you have to pay that much and you feel it within you that you are paying that much because you're already earning much. Not in Nigeria where it's not even everybody or every employer that is sticking to the 30,000 naira minimum wage. Everywhere there are people that are still earning as low as 15,000 naira.
Okay, my producer says we have to run, but I'd like us to touch very quickly and on the issue of the 13 trillion naira budget proposal for 2021. Do you think that we have a budget that can take us to the promised land?
We don't. If we have a budget and we are still running in deficit, I actually had to go through and I saw this now is going
about
to
4 trillion naira actually.
It's even like 5.
Okay.
It's going to even it's going to make me talk or put my discussion into the water resources bill now.
Good.
The way this particular budget that was presented goes or is going. If you are going to run in deficit, definitely you must look for revenue sources. I want to believe this water resources bill isn't just coming because it has to come.
So it's part of the grand plan to mop up resources across the country.
Yes, to further gather revenue, to be able to shock this deficit. Yes. I read in the news or on some blogs recently that a particular country had to reduce the allowances of their lawmakers for them to be able to realize
to save costs.
Yes, to realize that maybe about extra $1 billion. Nigeria can do the same. You don't have to pay your lawmakers this high and pay your civil servants this low.
Okay.
And then you still strangulate these people to get money out of them because you want to meet up with some particular things that you need to do or some particular shocks you want to put in your budget.
Thank you very much. It's been an interesting engagement with you this morning on our chit chat segment.